Cronos The New Dawn is amazing, and that's coming from someone who's a massive survival horror fan. I don't know what it is about Bloober Team, but they are currently on a roll. A year ago, they just released the Silent Hill 2 remake, which blew everyone away. Like, I don't think anyone was expecting it to be as good as it was. Well, apart from Silent Hill fans, but you could probably give them the second coming of Christ when it comes to Silent Hill, and they'd probably still hate it. And to be fair, I was one of those people who wasn't expecting Silent Hill 2 to be good, because I didn't used to like Bloober Team. I used to be one of the Bloober Team haters, to be honest. I didn't like Layers of Fear, I didn't like The Observer, I didn't like The Medium, so after playing Silent Hill 2, they announced Cronos The New Dawn, and I've been very anticipated to play it, and yeah, it's lived up to my personal hype so far. This game is great. I can see it sitting amongst the ranks of all the amazing horror games that, well, are known for their horror, like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Dead Space. Oh, well, I guess maybe not Dead Space. Speaking of Dead Space, Cronos takes a lot of cues from Dead Space. In fact, that's probably one of the main inspirations for it. But it takes some inspirations from other horror games that I'd like to talk about, specifically The Evil Within. Okay, so the enemies in Cronos are these weird, like, abominations, and their main gimmick is they can merge with corpses on the floor. So one of the main mechanics for the game is to burn corpses, just like The Evil Within. I mean, they don't merge in The Evil Within, but it's a mechanic in The Evil Within. You can burn corpses and use that to your advantage, so Cronos is taking cues from Peak, so that's a good thing. Oh, and it's also got a very similar world to The Evil Within, where it's like really weird and trippy and just all over the place. And just like The Evil Within, I've got no idea what's going on in the story, and I'm okay with that. I'm genuinely okay with that. I think it creates a lot of intrigue, a lot of mystery. I'm excited to see where it goes. And yeah, so far I'm having a good time. And you can get the game for 15% off if you use the code SEP15 at greenmangaming.com. There'll be a link below. Every purchase goes towards helping the channel, and you get access to a very good game at a discount. Just letting you all know. In terms of Cronos' atmosphere, it is top notch. Like, from what I've played, there was not a single moment where I felt like I was alone. You should not let your... I never wanted to let my guard down, ever. Like, even the introduction of the first enemy you face, I was not expecting an enemy to appear that early in. And it just took me by surprise. And it didn't help that it gave you... It didn't help that the first combat encounter was against one of the weird merged versions of the enemies, so it was a pretty tough fight, at least for me it was. Maybe that's just a skill issue on my part. Yeah, no, it's fucking freaky. It is got a rich horror atmosphere, and they probably learned a lot from making Silent Hill 2 when it came to making this, and I'm so happy for that, because this game is so good so far. But what isn't good is the port, because this game runs like dog shit. I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry to be negative, but I have a 4090, and I can't even run this game at a consistent 60 FPS on high, not ultra, high settings. I mean, it looks amazing, but if my PC can run Metal Eden on ultra, and even Silent Hill 2 on pretty high settings, it should be able to run Cronos at high at least 60. There's no excuse for that, really. It's not a good port, and that's probably one of the only downsides I have for it so far. So if you are wanting to play it, be warned, it might not run on your system. But if it can run on your system, you're in for a really good time. Now, you're probably a bit confused as to why I'm saying this if you're looking at, like, reviews, because it's rating, like, decently, but not amazingly. And I looked at some of these reviews, and some of the things people are critiquing it for are just general survival horror things, like a lack of inventory space, having to use the item box and stuff, and it's like, have you never played a survival horror game before? What? And there's also some complaints saying it's the most generic survival horror game ever made, but like, I don't really see what's generic about it. Like, yeah, it takes cues from a lot of the other survival horror games on the market, but it's not like Callisto Protocol, where it is like almost a one-to-one recreation of Dead Space. Cronos is very unique. Cronos feels very unique. It does a lot of new things. And speaking of new things, the puzzles. it focuses a lot on these weird, like, time manipulation puzzles where you move things back and forth like you're playing Ratchet and Clank A Crack in Time, and that's a really weird reference to make, but like, I really like these. They're not too complicated for my little brain, because one of the things I don't like too much about horror games are the puzzles. I usually get stuck because I'm stupid and I get frustrated. That's not a critique on the game, that is just down to me being stupid. But these are simple enough for me to get around, and they feel satisfying to solve. Also, they look really cool. So yeah, I can see myself playing through Cronos multiple times, maybe even 100%ing it, which is something I tend to do with a lot of survival horror games because it's one of my favorite genres. And yeah, I look forward to doing that.